Well, hello everyone. Thank you again so very much for sitting back down and joining me today. It is so very nice to meet you. If I have not already met you in some way, shape, form, or manner, my name is Ryan. And today we're going to be doing the October collection update video. What I decided to really try to do, because of the fact that there's so much, because I had done this video one time before and I wasn't quite too happy with it, I decided to really focus on the label pickups that I've done outside of big sale hauls. I mean, go figure, it's what a lot of us do. My dog is sort of deciding to go nuts right now, okay? Anyways, so what I decided to do was to focus on more of like the label-centric stuff that I pick up, because of the fact that the stack was just too towering and it was too long to, sort of go through, like, I found this for $4, I found this for $6, and it was just much too long. So just to trim the fat, that's what I sort of was going to do, with the exception of this very first one. I went into, I think we were doing some errands and I ran into Best Buy, and they've got the, Best Buy has the Alfred Hitchcock collection. They've got it on 4K. However, they had a single title that was available on 4K, and I did definitely want that title. I wanted it as a standalone because, I mean, go figure, it's such an important film. It's such an important film to me, just as it is to many other people. And it happened to be in a steelbook. And I've said it before, I'll say it again right now. I'm not a steelbook guy. I like them, and I really do like them, and I definitely will, get steelbooks, but or even sometimes just for the sake of it being the steelbook. But I'm not like a steelbook collector. That's just a rabbit hole that I try to avoid. I dabble and I dooble, but I don't go all in. I really try to avoid that. So, but with that being said, it's the 4K Best Buy Steelbook of Psycho. And it's a really, really nice looking steelbook. I really enjoy it. There is a scratch, of course, on it. Like I said, I'm not super, crazy about like my steelbooks or anything like that. Maybe one day I'll try to invest in like those sleeves for them, but like I said, I'm kind of outside of that rabbit hole, but the scratch should be able to, yeah, there you go. But I really, really like this one. I really do. And this is the 4K, and now I'm not sure, I didn't do a full dive into it to try to see, but I want to say it's probably the exact same sort of cut, because apparently on the 4K disc, which it does have the Blu-ray on here as well, on the 4K disc, there is the uncut version of Psycho that was never before seen originally outside of theaters. It was with all of the footage in there that was taken out in previous home video releases. So it's probably also was on that Alfred Hitchcock collection, which I do want to get, but I did want to have a standalone of Psycho, and this was a great version to have. So outside of that one, I just wanted to showcase that because I really like that one. Let's go into the label-centric stuff. We've got a couple of individual pickups, a couple of small sale purchases, and then the label of the month. What was the label for October? Well, we'll find out. So the very first thing that I had grabbed this month was actually part of the previous month's label, which was Scream Factory. Outside of that, but it didn't come till October, so I'm going to include it in here, and that is going to be Tales from the Dark Side. So I was able to revisit this, and it looks fantastic. It looks absolutely fantastic, and the film holds up so well. There's not a bad story, even including the wraparound, because the wraparound with Debbie Harris is so darkly funny, and I absolutely love it. It's a perfect wraparound, and my personal favorite, it's really hard to pick a favorite, because I'm a huge fan of the mummy story, but it's definitely going to be the cat with the hired assassin. That's probably my favorite segment. When I was a kid, it was probably the mummy segment, because that was the most gory, I would say. To me, the weakest one for me is definitely, and my other dog is leaving. He's not really into what's going on. You can hear the toenails fade away into the distance. So he's not jiving with what I'm putting down. So that's okay. My favorite one when I was a kid was probably the mummy segment, because it was the most gory, but yeah, it's definitely the cat. my least favorite is the gargoyle. And that's hard because the gargoyle is definitely one of the strongest in certain elements, the costume design, the amazing transformation sequence, but it's also the most, I guess, I know he's coming back. He's coming back. Nope, he's unsure. This is very, very exciting. Thank you for staying around for this. Okay, and he's back. He's sitting. So, yeah, the gargoyle one is just the most ambiguous. To where I feel like there's so much. Like I guess I just want to know more about what was kind of going on, and there's so much that's left unsaid. But with that being said, I mean, every one of the stories holds amazingly well. One of the best things on there, have not completed the entire doc, but there is a multi-part feature-length documentary that is found on this disc, and I think I'm about halfway through it, and it is amazing. It goes through everything with pre-production, individual stories, release, everything. It's definitely worth your watch. All right, and the next one that I picked up was at Best Buy as well. It was not the same. It was in the beginning of the month. And I had picked this up because I did not do the pre-order for the limited edition. The limited edition was still available, but it has been so long since I've seen this movie to where I don't hold the nostalgia factor for it. But because of the fact of something that's included on the limited edition, I'm regretting the choice not to get it, but I'm not going to double dip just for that. That'll just be something that I have to live with my FOMO for once it's completely gone at some point. But that is going to be the Arrow 4K release of Flash Gordon. It's been so long since I've seen Flash Gordon, so I haven't checked out the transfer or anything like that. I have not revisited it. From what I've heard is that it's just phenomenally gorgeous the way that it looks. And I think that this is a film, I heard somebody say once that this looks better than it deserves to look, and that's just rude. That's just rude. This is the film that we need in 4K. So there's a good bit of special features that are found on here, some good featurettes, an episode from the animated Flash Gordon show, but the entire doc, I think it's called Life After Flash, if I'm remembering correctly, that was exclusive to the limited edition. So that's where I have to live with my FOMO for, but that's okay. To have it at all is what I'm actually excited about. So I was able to pick this up. Very, very happy with it. Let's showcase the reversible artwork on that. Very, very nice. Let's go ahead and flip that actually, since I do have the slip. That's the nice thing about slips. I'm not a big slip guy. They're nice to have, but the main reason that I like to have them is because I don't have to worry about choosing between artworks. I like the choice, but when I have the slip, I can have the best of both worlds. I can have my cake and eat it too. So very, very excited to revisit this one. It's gonna be a lot of fun because it's been so long. So Flash Gordon, check out a lot of these features on here as well. The next 4, Deep Discount did this was not that long ago, did a buy one, get one on Olive Films. And surprisingly, I don't have any Olive Films in my collection. There's not a label that I've that I've gone into. And the last time that Deep Discount did this, I wasn't able to dip into it. And I was so happy that that one of the titles that I wanted was a part of this buy one, get one. So I grabbed 4. And the one that I had wanted originally, that I when I did not partake in the first one, was here, and I'm very excited. And that is going to be Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. This is a horror anthology tale starring Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Donald Sutherland. Yes, Donald Sutherland is in this as well. What year? This is 1964, and this is going to be, I believe it's a train ride. Are they on a train? Yes, they board a train. They board a train as strangers, and then there is this mysterious traveler who's Peter Cushing, who has these tarot cards that starts to include all of these vignettes. And I know there's like there's a werewolf scene. There's a voodoo doll vignette in there as well. So I'm really, really excited. You guys know that I love my anthologies. And this is one that has passed me by, so I'm really glad that I was able to get it on here as well. So let's go into that. This one is one that I'm familiar with the story the H. Rider Haggard story, but I'm not familiar with the movie. I've just never seen it before, and that is going to be Richard Chamberlain, Sharon Stone, Herbert Lom, and King Solomon's Mines. And I've never ever seen this one before. This is 1985. Yes, 1985. Directed by J. Lee Thompson, and like I said, I'm familiar with the story, the Haggard story, but just not the not this film at all. I've never been able to see it before, but it just looks absolutely insane. It looks completely insane. Obviously, taking the Haggard story and playing off of Indiana Jones, it looks amazing. So I'm really excited to dive into this one. This next one I have never seen as well. The first one is going to make an appearance in a future haul video, since I did get that in. But I've never seen this one, and I've heard that if you love the first one, which I do, it's been a long time, so I'd like to revisit that before seeing this one, then you're going to adore the second one, and that is going to be Night of the Demons 2. I believe, to my knowledge, Olive is the only one that has put out Night of the Demons 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm so excited because I've known about Night of the Demons 2 forever. This cover I've seen for a while, and I've just never ever checked it out before. So this was my way of remedying that. And I'm so excited because it looks way more bonkers and cheesy than the first one, and that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing for me as well. They have on here a commentary with the director. And so that's another reason to get it, is because of the fact that the director is Brian Trenchard Smith. So anything to also expand my Trenchard Smith collection. What year was this one? Let me see, because I really am not sure. 1994. 1994 is when Night of the Demons 2 came out. So I'm really excited. And I have it's hard for me to find the time to listen to audio commentaries. Full-time job, married, 2 kids. Because I like to watch all the features and everything like that. It's so hard for me to get the time to listen to the commentary. A Trenchard Smith commentary, 100%. I love his tracks. This next one I got because I really feel like I've seen this movie when I was a kid, but I'm hard-pressed to remember anything but a couple, like a handful of moments. And because of the recent release documentary about this film, which I really want to see, it encouraged me to pick it up and revisit it, because maybe I haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure I have, but maybe I haven't. And that is going to be 1987's Monster Squad. Fred Dekker, Shane Black and Fred Dekker. Monster Squad. So with the Werewolf Scott Nards documentary, it seems like such an interesting doc, and I really want to see it. And when that was coming out, when maybe started to think about Monster Squad, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen Monster Squad. I love that as a kid. And I'm kind of thinking, I can only remember a couple of things. Like, did I actually see it? Because it's either has it been that long, or maybe am I remembering things that like I've seen clips of, and I'm not sure. So really excited to check this out, either or for the first time or for the second time. So very happy. Monster Squad. These next 3 come from Indicator. Indicator had a 3 for $30 sale going on, and these are all of their region-free discs. A lot of their newer catalog titles are region B locked, and I am not region-free at this time. I really need to be, but I'm not. So I've never really messed too much with Indicator stuff. So this is actually my first 3 with Indicator. And but on these, they had a lot of their older stuff that is region-free. So I grabbed 3 for $30. And I got a Amicus. I believe this is an anthology as well. It doesn't give me the summary on here, but I'm pretty sure that this is an anthology. Or maybe it's not. It's because it doesn't have it on here. Excuse me. It doesn't have the synopsis on here. So I can't remember, so I can't like jog my memory. I probably should have looked at it before doing this, but this is going to be 1967's Torture Garden. And on here we do have Peter Cushing, but we have Burgess Meredith. That was a big point for me. It's an Amicus film, Peter Cushing. I haven't seen it, of course. Burgess Meredith, 100%. But there's a lot of really good features in here as well. There's the original 93-minute theatrical version and the 100-minute TV cut. Then there's a bunch of features on here. A couple of them that are over an hour. Then there's like, your 5 minutes, your 8 minutes, your 25 minutes. There's one with Kim Newman, all on Torture Guard, and he is amazing. I just love listening to him talk. He just makes me happy. And then there is a a whole conversation with Freddie Francis, the director, with journalist Alan Jones from the National Film Theatre in London. That was done in 1995, so it's an archival interview for, is it Guardian? Yes, for The Guardian, so Torture Garden. The next one that I got, this is the, I picked this one up because podcast that I love, I'm a big fan of, everybody should listen to, Cobwebs, hosted by Daniel Epler. Him and Adam Risky from F This Movie did a episode of this a while back, and it made me so interested, and I was going to pick it up, and I ended up holding off like right at the last minute, and it was included in here, so I was like, absolutely, here's the opportunity to do this. And I can't remember why I did not end up picking it up, because I was literally about to click, check out now. But regardless, this is going to be Night Tide. It's like horror adjacent, sea siren, mermaid tale, gothic romance, starring a very early Dennis Hopper. This is, what year was this? 1961, written and directed by Curtis Harrington. This is a brand new 4K transfer of Night Tide on here. There's an audio commentary with Dennis Hopper and Curtis Harrington from '98. There is a 25-minute featurette, Harrington on Harrington, which is a bunch of archival interviews put together. But then there are 2 episodes from David Delval's series all about cult cinematic figures. And David Delval is a wealth of information. He's on a bunch of Vincent Price titles from Kino. He's a gold mine for information. So there's a lot of good stuff that's on here. So I'm very, very excited. And the last one is a De Palma film that I have not seen. He's somebody that honestly I've just have not really ever dived in, except for a couple of like a small handful of films. Because a lot of times, like I'll know, and I've mentioned this before, I'll know of certain greats or certain classics, and just for whatever reason, just was going into something else at the time, and it was just one of those, one day, but never came. So this was a way to make that one day a now day. That didn't come off as well as I was hoping to, but I think the point was made. But that is going to be Body Double. And I've never ever seen this one. Now, the bird is going crazy. Everybody's going crazy. It is a zoo in here. So this like erotic thriller from '84 from Brian De Palma. I've never ever seen this one. I don't hear about Body Double as much, but when I do, it's very, very pleasant things about this movie. So there's a new 4K restoration on here. What else do we have? A bunch of interviews. Looks like a lot of interviews. There's a whole like 17 minutes of De Palma discussing the first treatment of the script, which is really, really cool. Some like a full examination of the plot, an isolated score, a lot of really, really good things in here. So Body Double, very, very excited. Now, so the next 4 are part of the Label of the Month, the Label of the Month Club. One I'm kind of cheating with, I guess, but I mean it's adjacent to the label, so it fit for me. But the Label of the Month is, or was, a Vinegar Syndrome. So I grabbed 4 titles. Now I'm realizing right now that I just grabbed one of the wrong ones. So let me, yes, because there it is. That's the right one, because you're getting sneak peeks of something different. So consider yourself very, very lucky. All right, so let's go into the adjacent one first, because this is the owner, or the person that owns this label and is running this label is associated with Vinegar Syndrome. There's an amazing podcast by Brian Sauer, does Just the Discs, that is all about the label, that is an interview, a discussion with the label head all about Fun City Editions. So I went ahead and, because I always wanted to, right when it was being released because it just sounded right up my alley, and that's going to be Alphabet City. First, look at this amazing artwork on the slip. Really, really, really like this weird abstract design. It's really cool. And then you got the original artwork on there. So it's like this 80s neo-noir. On here, Johnny controls the drug trade in New York's rough Alphabet City neighborhood as long as his mob bosses let him. But when he refuses to follow orders to torch the tenement building he grew up in, Johnny puts himself and his loved ones in their unforgiving crosshairs. No Way filmmaker Amos Poe's neo-noir cult favorite oozes 80s neon-lit punk-tinged style. Totally right up my alley for all of that. There's really nothing that on here that I'm not 100% onto. And Michael Winslow is in this as well. This is a 2K scan from the 35mm Inner Positive. There's a newly filmed interview with the actor Vincent Spano plays Johnny. Theatrical trailer, video essay by filmmaker Chris O'Neill, and newly recorded audio commentary by Amos Poe and the writer Luke Santi. So very happy to get this first release because I'm really interested. I really want to check out the newest one that they've got coming out, which is I think it's Now I Start Counting, I believe is the title. So the next three are going to be our true Vinegar Syndrome titles. Like I said, I think that this still counts, but it's completely different, but it's adjacent. So that is how I what's the correct word I'm looking for? That's how I justified it. So the very first one that I've got, all of these have slips actually, which is phenomenal. We have Patty Hearst. Patty Hearst is a film that I've heard so much about from being such a ruthlessly raw film all about the true story of Patty Hearst. Here is the original on here as well, because this happened in the 70s. I believe this is the heiress. Yes, Patricia Hearst, portrayed by Natasha Richardson of Hearst Publications, William Randolph Hearst. She's kidnapped by a group of radicals, and as everything starts to, the way that they explained it on here, as her ordeal dragged on, Hearst slowly began to transform from unwilling victim into an accomplice to her kidnapper's cause, resulting in a notorious and violent crime spree that shook the very fabric of American culture. So, very cool. I mean, I'm lightly familiar with what's going on there, but not really. So I would like to be able to see the film because I hear that it is a very raw and emotionally gripping film, but then also learn a little bit more about the actual what really went down, see the differences, and so I like to do that sort of stuff. It's interesting. So we have a newly scanned and restored 2K from the 35mm Inner Positive, an interview with Paul Schrader, who's the director, promotional still gallery. So very, very excited to check out Patty Hearst. This one is going to be this is a erotic vampire film, because vampires and eroticism go hand in hand to me, just as much as vampires and just like, gothic scenery, or just wild, crazy, like 80s cheese fest stuff. Vampires can kind of really go anywhere. They're the fair weather monster. But this is going to be, what year was this? I always like to say it. 1990s Pale Blood. I don't know if I did the reversible on this one as well. I didn't. So that is Pale Blood. This is going to be what is his name on here? Michael Fury. I love it. He's a vampire. He doesn't, he's not like a killer. He takes what he needs to survive, but then there is a killer that starts going, is it Los Angeles or New York? It's LA. So it starts going around the streets of LA, killing young women by biting them and draining them of their blood, to make everybody think that there is this vampire on the loose. So the true vampire has to go out and try to stop him. So very excited for this one. Here is the reversible on here, just so that you can see that. It's a little more minimalist. I'll end up flipping that over. just to have the best of both worlds. So we have a newly scanned and restored 2K from 35mm Inter Positive, an interview with the director, an interview with the actress Darcy DeMoss, and the reversible cover artwork. So that is going to be Pale Blood. And the very last one, this came from not the October, but the September Vinegar Syndrome bundle. I did not get that one, but I did grab the title that I was very, very interested in. And that is going to be The Grave Robbers. I'm not gonna attempt to pronounce the Spanish title, but The Grave Robbers, really nice. I love that occult ritual on the back. So this is a supernatural slasher film from the 80s Mexican horror boom, and The Other Dog is leaving now. Everybody, I gotta figure out what it is they don't like that just makes them leave. But, so it's a late 80s, I think, huh? Yeah, it's 1989. So it is, they say, from Mexico's oft overlooked 80s horror boom, which is true because I'm not familiar with Mexico's 80s horror boom. So this is going to be an introduction for me of sorts. So this is going to be, a bunch of grave robbers, and they unearth this tomb, and I think there's an axe in the body. Let me see over here. There's an axe embedded in the chest. They take it out. They've now awoken the darkness, and now he is seeking out revenge and slashing and killing and just absolute zany insanity. So I'm very, very excited for The Grave Robbers, really just because I want to know what these Mexican horror films were like. That's the most interesting thing. So guys, that is everything. Let me get everything back into frame as the dog is coming back now. And maybe she wants to see the final stack shot. But this is everything label-wise that was picked up during the month of October. If you like any of these titles, if you've seen any of these titles or curious about them, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd really like to hear from you. If you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more additional content. We've got the collection updates, sale hauls, reviews, box set adventures with much, much more coming along down the pipeline. All of my social media and contact information can be found in the description box down below. But other than that, that is all that I've got for you today. Yep, that's everything. So, hope that you enjoyed this video. I do. I always do. But most importantly, I definitely hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.